welcome back. A lot of you guys don't know about me is this is what I used to do growing up. I used to build beds. You got a bed over there. I used to build like log railings and different things. This is the shop where we did almost all the work. It's a 24 by 30 dirt floor, and there's about 2 feet of sawdust on it now. So we hand peeled everything using a homemade draw knife. Right there, that is a leaf spring. It's been cut. We cut the angle on it, and then we sharpened it. Weld a couple 1/2-inch bolts to the end of it. You'll have the best draw knife you've ever seen. So everything was hand peeled. I'm not going to peel the whole thing, but all right.
Yep.
Anyway, battery died there. Sorry about that. So yeah, everything was hand peeled. Sometimes we do either a clean peel like that. That was a popular for our railing, or we do a skip peel. It looks like that right there when it's done. But to peel it, you just kind of skip. Oh, come on. Bolt turned on me. This one's been sitting outside in the snow and ice. But yeah, you just skip peel like that. And it adds a lot of character, makes them look really cool. Anyway, that's my peeling for now. Snow milling all day. I'm hurting a little bit. And then what we do is, that was a spindle I was peeling. Then we take it and we chop those up into shorter pieces to make the spindles for the railing. We'd peel spindles, we'd peel posts, we'd peel rails. There's a rail sitting on the chop saw right now, right there. We'd pile, you know, a couple hundred spindles in here. Just big old piles of them. Let me find one that's not, this one's been doweled or tenoned, whatever you want to call it. Let me find one that hasn't, and I'll show you how that works. There we go. This one's that's about a 3-inch diameter. And when we started doing railing, we were doing this by hand. We were doing a hand tenon. This is a little 7/8, little tiny 7/8 inch diameter. That's one of them that we got. And I've actually got the hand one right here. Oh, that's the one that got bent because it was built out of 1/8 inch, not 3/16. Anyway, don't know where the hand ones are, but they're just like this. Basically a giant pencil sharpener. We made these on this anvil. You take a 5-gallon bucket, you lay it on a piece of 3/16 steel. You trace your radius to make a half a circle, and then you take that, you set it right here in the step on the anvil, and you take the back side of your ball peen hammer. I don't know if I got a ball peen around here. It used to be. Anyway, take the ball into your ball peen hammer, and you'd hit along here, and you'd roll it into a cone. That's a lot of work to make that cone. But you basically roll it into that cone, and then you can see right here where we welded the two ends back together. And then you cut a window in it, and you stick a piece of just steel, flat plate steel there. And you take a planer blade. So you drill and tap that, and take a planer blade and bolt it to it. And then there's a piece of tubing right here, a piece of just tubing here, and that's your length of your dowel. For the machine over here, we ended up putting a coupler on them, but for the drill, we just welded a 1/2-inch bolt to the back side of that. But we got an 1.5 inch one here, we got a 2.5 inch one here, and we got a 7/8 one here. This one was for making like baby cribs, and bassinets and little things like that. Sometimes chairs, tables and chairs. Sometimes you have some real little spindles and stuff you want to do it on. But anyway, we went from doing it by hand with the drill, because that was way too much work. We said, hey, we got to have a better way to do this. So we mounted it on this table. My dad is a genius. He designed and built all of this stuff. And we set it on this table. First we didn't have the flywheel here, but we found out that it won't just power through stuff without the flyweight. So it's a 1-horse motor. No, this is a 3-horse motor. We have a couple gear reduction in there. The nice thing about it is if it catches too hard and seizes it, the belt will slip. It won't break your arm. Anyway, got a little bit of a setup here. So we got our clamp. Our clamp here. It's built heavy, but there's a little lip on the back side. You drop it over the top of the crossbar and it drops in. It won't move. Then you take your spindle. So this is a big spindle. It's on the big side, but that's all right. And throw it in there. A lot of times we put spacers in here. I got about 3/4 inch spacers. And then there's some thinner ones, a couple thinner ones around here. We just take and throw those in there, and what it does is it helps level the pole so your tenon's actually straight. We would just eyeball it. We just eyeball it, kind of get it close, because when you're doing railing, you kind of get it close, and it's good enough. So you get it in there about like that. There you go. There's the tenon. Right there. You flip it around. This thing is really dull. Anyway, make yourself a spindle. This thing's really dull. When I was doing them, take about 15 seconds per spindle. And I do about anywhere between 100 and 1,000 at a time. Because when you're doing big railing jobs, that's what it takes. That's the 1.5 inch one. I'm trying to find it. We're gonna do this one. Now we're going to do a 2.5 inch one. So all you do is you turn it to your keyway straight up, slide it off. So for 2.5 inch. Now 2.5 inch is what we use for the rails, the bigger diameter stuff. And we have a table here. We can do longer stuff. We're going to keep it short today just for demonstration, showing you what we're doing here. But yeah, the 2.5 inch is pretty cool. Throw it in there, get it close. A lot of times I'd eyeball it, make sure it's straight and whatnot, but just like that, you got a 2.5 inch tenon. Works awesome. So the cool thing about it is the 2.5 inch tenon, you can take and run the 1.5 inch over the top of it, and it works out exactly perfect. But we didn't have to do that terribly often. The only time we'd ever do that is when we're doing stair railing. We'd have a bigger post, about a 5 inch post at the bottom of the stairs, and we'd towel them down, and then our top rail of the railing would run right over the top of the bottom post. So there's not a post sitting at the bottom of the stairs, so when the rain hits it, it doesn't run down the railing and into the post and rot the post out fast. And it makes it a lot easier to sit on it and slide down. Slippers hurt though. Anyway, so then you're doweling them up for railing. I didn't put that in the right spot. So if you need to drill a piece of railing, we'd set them in here about like that. What you do is you'd eyeball it to where your bows go this way or this way, but they don't go this way. Very seldom do you have logs that bow kind of two different directions. Had it happen, but it's not terribly common. You just eyeball it. Look at that. Okay, it's bowing this way. And I look at underneath of it, and I can shim this end or this end to get it level. And what I do, clamp that down, and I got a little helper over here. This thing's been used. So that holds it. Drill press needs a little attention. So now I got a drill press on the rails. So what I do, you mark out your holes, and it holds your rail in place so it doesn't turn on you. This drill press has seen better days, but then you run it all the way down and you find your height. You want to drill to about the center of the bottom rail. So you just eyeball center. I sometimes go just past center. That's my eyeball center. And then wherever your mark is, you just eyeball center of the log. And you go all the way down and then drill all your holes. So that's broken, it needs repaired. Anyway, so yeah, you drill all your holes in your top rail and your bottom rail, and then we'd actually throw them over here. We've got a vise. That's what our vise and anvil stuff was for. We'd throw them in here. We glue it with subfloor adhesive. Drop your spindles in it. Once you get all your spindles in, you have spacers that has your centers. Every piece of railing always have the same centers. So when you get to your job site to drill your posts, you're always drilling them the same distance apart. So you use your spacer, slide it on the end. Well, you put your top rail on, slide it on the end, slide it on the end of your top rail. You're spaced, stick a screw in it, stick a screw in the top, stick a screw in the bottom. Your piece, then you pull it out of here and set it over there. I think the most, I don't know how many railings we do at a time. I think 30 or 40. That's a lot for the back of a truck. Half ton, hated it. Anyway, but that was it. And made a lot of furniture in here. I do custom beds, custom dressers and stuff. Didn't use this too much for that. Actually, I use this to cut trim for it. Should show you that. Anyway, that's what our railing, and that's what I grew up doing. I did a lot of that. A lot of the cabins in Island Park, Idaho, me or my dad or one of us, we did the railing on them. Custom log rail, that's what we did. Let's see. Show you the saw. Let me get this set up. So for making trim for dressers, we got the Finger Cutter 3000 right here. What we do with this thing is it mounts on here. If you don't have a bolt long enough, just stack wash, or don't have a bolt short enough, stack washers until it is. This off, and this dealy whopper right here. Piece of angle iron. And you got 2 dogs at the end of it. If you look at that, we took a couple bolts, welded them in there, and then we got some things here with a jam nut so we can actually adjust where they're at. Once they're set, you never adjust them. But where that does, this piece here is made special so that this blade lines up perfectly right down the center of that piece. Then I've got another one right here. Find another scrap of wood. Do a short one. Don't need to do it. So you dog it. And once it's dogged, it's not moving. I'd actually a lot of times put a clamp on right here. Just a second. In the shop for over 10 years. For almost 10 years. So everything where I left it isn't really there. So I clamp that. That won't move. Yeah, sure, it wiggles a little bit, but it's fine. You know what you can do? Take your saw and you set your depth on it. Set your depth down. You can rip it in half. Didn't do a lot of that, but you can if you wanted to. What I did a lot of is I set my depth to go to about the center of the log, which is about right there. Find the extension cord is too short to do what I want to do. All right, what you can do make one cut. If you look right here you got one cut right there. You can let the blade stop and then pull it back. Pull it back like that. Loosen your clamp. If you want to be exact, you can be exact. Or if you don't really care that much, use your eyeball. And what I do is I turn it about just less than 90 degrees. Right like that. Tighten that back down. Make sure my depth is good. Quarters off, just like that. Not only quarter saw, but three-quarter saw. So I can use that to wrap the corner of a dresser, to trim the front facade of a dresser. That right there. I bet you. Don't know where the square went. Tell you what, this broken level's been more useful than broken than it was put together. I think my micrometer's calibrated. I've done this a time or two. But yeah, this is the invention that fed my family for a lot of years with my dad, and it's what I learned to do growing up. So hope you enjoyed this one. It's another one of my dad's inventions. But thanks for watching.